Hi guys, how are you? This is hopefully going to work. I've been having some technical difficulties this morning with getting Inspirator Life rocking and rolling and up and at 'em for you. So let's see. I hope that this one works. We've got my special guest right now who is being added on, Alexandra. Hi Lynn, how are you doing? Hopefully you're having a great day today. It is gorgeous here in Boise. I hope it's gorgeous for you up in Seattle. And Alexandra, I hope that you are popping in. Let's make sure. There she is. So Alexandra, let's have you add on. I just put you, I added you into the show with the upper right part. So I do love this as to how I am doing. Yep, I invited you to be on the show with me. So hopefully this works. It should be working, guys. I've done this now every week. Hi, Lori. How are you doing? Alexandra, press the button to bring you on camera. It should be in there because I invited you specifically to join me. So it should pop on in there. I don't know. It's kind of funny this has been the technology challenges of the last 15 minutes. Let me just tell you that. Just to bring this great, juicy, wonderful goodness to you. That's all I'm determined to do. Oh my goodness. And then to go buy my kids shoes for their trip to Europe right afterwards. But hey, that's a whole nother story. So Alexandra is going to be here. She is here right now, but she will be added on. So as we are working out these glitches, Alexandra, it should just be, if you could say add on camera, and then I just add you on your end of it, just says request to add. And it should be able to work out. So I don't know why it's not right now. Again, I got this phone though after. Hi Debbie, how are you doing? I got this phone after last week's Inspirator Life. So I haven't added on anybody with the 10 compared to the 6S that I had before. So it's a big shift in phone, but it shouldn't be an issue here. This is really odd. So Alexandra, I'm trying to add you in other which ways, and it says the invite's been sent. Hi Kelly Ann, how are you doing? And so you can't see the link. So it says to add you in. Guys, this is so embarrassing. I'm really sorry. Let's see, there's Kelly Ann. I am trying to add in. Lori Mo has it to add her. Hi Lori, how are you doing, love? But it doesn't have it even on this side to add you. So I don't know what's up here. Alexandra, this is not how it's supposed to be, because I want the world to know your magic so very much and to see your beautiful face. So let's see, guys, so I sent you an invite, Alexandra, and to add on to it. Guys, I'm really sorry. Thank you for your patience right now as I'm looking through this, as I'm doing this. This is very embarrassing, quite honestly. Well, I shouldn't say it's embarrassing, but it's also real life. This is how it goes. Learn by doing, right? Cal Poly's motto. But it doesn't make sense as to why I can't do it. So, Alexandra, maybe if you log out and log back in. Oh no! So she can't pull up the video, and she's not sure. I can't figure out how to add you in. And I really want you guys to get to know Alexandra. So we tried on the computer already twice, and it wasn't working. And this is the second time on the phone. So this doesn't make any sense. Buggers. Oh, Alexandra, I want the world to know your magic. There we go. Add. Yes. Yes. Oh, goodness gracious. I hope it's working. This is, for those of you watching the replay of this, yes, this is this lame and the silliness at the beginning. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness, I know. It's kind of embarrassing and crazy, but you know what? Apple's making a lot of money off of me, as is Facebook, right? So anyhow, Alexandra is now able to add herself in. It is blinking, adding, and I will give you some background right now. Erin Kreitz Shirey, personal trainer, Inspirator coach, owner of Inspirator Coaching Fitness, and this weekly should be more put together show of Inspirator Life, which is bringing inspirators to you every single week. And an inspirator is an inspiration and motivator in one. And Alexandra Taketa is beautiful Inspirator, and she is going to just inspire you up with some nuggets of wisdom. Oh, and she said it's still spinning over there on her end to be added in. Can you believe this? There's some reason this is happening right now, Alexandra. I do not know what is going on. So let's see if we can do it again. Add you in. I'm adding you in. And let's do it again. You know what? She's going to come in here with some bullets of wisdom, and it is going to be so worthwhile because I don't know what is happening. What's happening? Oh my God.
We made it. Oh my gosh.
Seriously, is that the craziest? That is no joke. 20 minutes almost of back and forth trying to connect in, add on. I've never experienced that before.
No, usually it just allows me to have like a little, join in, and then you.
I know.
That's okay.
I know Debbie Choi just commented. Yay! I know Debbie, right? We're like, this is finally happening. Okay, guys. And there's Kelly Ann in there. Hi, Kelly Ann. Okay, you guys, this will be well worth the wait, I promise. And Alexandra's coming in from sunny Newport Beach. Aren't you in Newport Beach?
Yes, I am. I'm right in Newport Beach. I can actually, if I open up my office door, I could see the ocean from my office. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Austin, Texas. So totally different.
Are you really? Oh my gosh, and that's like the hot place where everybody's moving to right now too. It's so funny. Austin and Boise's on that list. Austin's on the list. And because Boise's the fastest growing city right now, but Austin, Texas is one of them. And then there's another spot on there. Can't remember. But that's so funny. Here you are in Newport Beach, and there was Austin. But to get on with it, you're here right now with us. I'm so excited. So let me give I was trying to do some background as I was obviously getting frustrated with technology, and that's what happens. But we're here, and there is such a reason as to why there is all those challenges, because of the fact that, guess what? Alexandra is going to give some amazing nuggets of wisdom that will be so juicy and phenomenal. And it also is this, it's determination. We didn't give up. Neither of us stopped. I didn't just throw in the towel and say, oh, you know what? Let's do it next week once I get this all figured out. It shouldn't have taken that long. And that's kind of actually what being an entrepreneur is too, is you just have to keep going when you get stuck in some situations. So we met at Ignite and Expand in Palm Beach, Florida, just over a month ago, quite honestly. And Alexandra and I connected online a bit before, and it was so wonderful watching her presence and the way that she engaged with everybody. When we really talked was in my boot camp in the morning when she came, and she was so enthusiastic for everything I threw at her, which of course I was in hog heaven, because the fact that if you have a kid for me, if I have a kid, no, but if you have anybody in boot camp, hi Jennifer, how are you? If you have anybody in boot camp who is saying, bring it on, give me more, what does it make you as an instructor go, yes, I love you, I want to spend more time with you, you're fantastic, let's go hang out. And so Alexandra, why don't you give a little bit of your background, who you are, where you are? Well, we know Newport Beach, looking at the ocean, but and exactly what you do right now.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Erin. I loved meeting you. You totally kicked my booty. I was sore, but I needed it. I really exercise part of my daily existence, and honestly, if I don't, I get grouchy. So we're just kind of like slug it. So I really feel like we connected on that, and I appreciated it. I was so grateful for those exercise mornings. So I'm in Newport Beach, California, like I said, and I've been here since in California since 2000, and I'm an author, and I'm a coach and a strategist. And so I spent the first 15 years of my career working in big corporate positions, leading talent development and organizational development. I worked for Gap, and I worked for a pharmaceutical down here, and did all sorts of that type of work. And then when I left, I wrote my book and published my book when I was pregnant with my second child. And that was a really fun, amazing process. And it's a business book, and it's all about listening and really the art of asking really good questions. So that's out there. And then, my focus really though has shifted more, and what I've found that I really, really enjoy is working with women leaders and entrepreneurs and small business owners and helping them really grow and scale and, get to that 6 and 7 figure level. And I like to bring both the intuitive side into it and then the strategy piece into it. So there's sort of a flow to it, but then there's also the like roll up your sleeves, like let's get into it and like dig into the meat of your business and figure out how to really grow it and get women in front of their clients and the customers in a way that feels really abundant and full of flow, right? So that's what I love to do.
I love it. I love it also, the digging in, like just roll up your sleeves and digging into your business. As you said that, I was thinking, like, that's kind of like I have people dig into their lives, like it's powered up in their lives and then transfers to their business, and how you, through fitness and wellness, right? Like, I'm like, I use that. But for you, you really dig into their business and go for it, But I'm going to go back a little bit. I'm going to ask you a fun question, because the fact that, as you stated, that exercise is part of your daily, you feel like a slug if you don't exercise. And how has that shifted, even you working with your own clients, right? She is amazing. Exactly, Debbie. Debbie just shared that you are amazing, that she worked with you. I was thinking about that too, actually. Debbie, seeing you popped on, I was like, I believe you two just worked together, which is fantastic. But for yourself, Alexandra, how have you found that that fitness has helped you be a better entrepreneur? Or how have you found that fitness has been a catalyst for you to say, go for some of the bigger professional and personal goals that maybe you've seen some of your peers hold back from, possibly? I don't know. I mean, this is just a...
Totally. I actually do think it correlates. I think that, we had this conversation on Messenger. I really feel like the busier you get, the more you have to make exercise and fitness and just like caring for yourself a priority. Because otherwise there's just the potential to get, I have done the other, like I have actually done the other where I didn't take care of myself and I just like worked, or took care of everybody else. And then what happens is that, I talk a lot about abundance with women, and I think this is part of this whole cycle of giving and receiving, right? It's like you have to have both in the whole cycle. And so if you're just always giving, and you're never receiving, like it's not a complete, it's not a whole picture. And to me, that's, that analogy applies with exercise and, taking care of yourself, like eating good foods. And, I'm like obsessed with brain juice. I've got the one I made in my Vitamix, this morning. It was like sitting in my refrigerator. I drink one every day. I feel like, it has to be a part of it because it really gives you the momentum, it carries you through. It's like, for me, I almost think of it as like sacred, like selfish time for me, right? Like it's my time, it's nobody else's time. I get to just focus on me. And I get to, sometimes when I start, I don't feel motivated. I don't want to go do it. I'm like, I want to do anything but that. But I know that when I finish it, I'll feel better. And so I just have to keep that in mind. And I think that same thing applies in business. It's like, you said we just kept going, like, even though the technology was stressful, I was like, how do I get on this thing? But it's like that, like, that like, if you just push past like a little bit further, like you'll get there. Right. And it'll be so satisfying. And exercise is like that. I also feel like for me, exercise is a place where I often get like downloads from the universe of just like ideas and inspiration. And to me, it's like you're in a flow state, you're in a non-resistant space. And so you can just receive information. And it doesn't matter if you you're like a fast walker, or you love to hike, or you want to go for a run, or you like press play on a DVD thing, or you're at the spin class. I don't think it matters. I feel like you're just a receptive vessel at that point. And so ideas can come, and I feel like I have all sorts of creative ideas. Sometimes I have like a little notebook and I will just like write something down in between, or I'll get like an inspiration for something to write about, and I'll write a little note to myself, and then I'll go off and do it afterwards. So, yeah.
I'm right there with you. It's so funny, especially like with long runs and long swims for me. And swims I really have to pay attention to, because if I'm, with specific yardage and everything, and I've got to get so much yards in, and but the longer sets, I can sometimes find my mind getting distracted, but I get so open to these downloads that come through, and I pop out of the pool and I'll be writing quickly, you know, putting the notes in my notes app in my phone, which I think I use that app more than anything, quite honestly, because I'll think of something quickly, put it in the notes app, and especially on runs. If I'm at the gym though lifting, it's not quite the same for me personally. But I feel though, especially like the walking and the running and the swimming, the long endurance parts, which I think is why I've always loved that as well, just because of being open to what comes up and the excitement of pushing yourself. And as you push yourself physically to getting from that, I don't want to get started, to then you get going and you start getting that endorphin rush. It's almost like there's more flow that comes through too. And I've written actually whole programs in my head that I came back. It was like, and the whole thing came flowing out. And it was, whereas if I were to have been sitting at my desk,
no, well, you got the energy flowing, and it's similar for business, right? I mean, it's like once you get into motion, I mean, I see so many people who are just like standing on the sides, like, oh, I need to buy this extra course, or I need to do this thing before I can really do that. And it's sort of like, no, you just got to start. You know, it's just like, you got to just like get out there and like walk the first mile. Like you just got to start. You just got to put yourself out there, even though it may not be pretty at first, right? I mean, I love the exercise analogy because it's such a powerful one. It's like, you just, you know, I mean, I say it in writing sometimes. It's like, you don't go to the gym and like the next day, like show up with a new body. Like it doesn't happen. Like, you know, like, wouldn't that be great? But like, it doesn't happen. No, not at all. Like, you gotta like,
well, and also even
effort,
with that,
right?
Yes. And I'm saying, even with that too, there's times that, just start. Exactly. Yeah. You just have to start. And there's a client I was talking to yesterday who's she's in a corporate position right now, but really wants to start her own business. And we've been really helping her with boundaries in time, right? Like, here's your boundaries for exercise. Here's your boundaries for this. But where are you putting the windows of time to start that business? But she's fearful of getting started, right? Just like you just said, like the jumping in part. I'm like, okay, we're going to up your workouts. So we got to get you to do this and get the energy and the momentum to just get started. Just jump in like a cannonball, both feet, and go for it, you know, like just go for it. And that fear, turn that fear into fuel to keep propelling you forward. So on that, what for you would be the biggest fears that you had with shifting from even the writing, when you're writing your book and then starting this business, which is different than what you did before in corporate America, with how you've blended both sides. I love that. I love how you blend it together, because energetically it flows and you get people really being open to their strengths. I can't wait. We're going to work together and have a session. I can't wait to see as to what comes up then. And so, what were your biggest fears with shifting your own career path a little bit, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a lot of them. And I mean, honestly, there's like still new ones that pop up because, you know, who doesn't, right? It's just part of it. You know, I think for me, a lot of it was like shifting from being within the confines of like a structured environment where it's like, you know, you're going to get paid X amount and it's just, you know, part of it, you just kind of show up and do your work, versus, wow, like I have to really craft the entire vision for this, right? And, you know, what if like I speak out this vision that's really huge and big and like I don't get there, right? Or what if I do get there? You know, how both sides of that, right? And, you know, for me too, I think there was a bit of in my corporate life, I don't think I always like I showed up as all of me, but I didn't necessarily bring all of my intuitive pieces to it, you know, just the atmosphere of the last place I worked at just wouldn't have been part of it. Like I would have been like pushing against a brick wall. Right. And I'm actually working with somebody that I used to work with there, who's hired me to do some work for his organization. And he's like, gosh, you've really changed, you know? And I'm like, no.
But it's always been me. I just more, the onion layers are peeled off a little bit more.
Yeah,
you know?
Like now I just don't really care what other people think about it. You know, I'm sort of like, love it or leave it, you know, like if it's not for you, that's okay. And, this is one of the things I teach with women around visibility too, is that it's like, there are people that are not going to like you, and, but like just owning that, claiming that, like, hey, like, we did that even in the Ignite and Expand, right? Like, I love that about myself, right? Because it means you're actually showing up, right? You're actually showing up, being willing to be visible, being willing to be real, and knowing that some people won't resonate with you, but that's really the ideal thing, because the people who do will dig in further, and the people who don't will just keep going on, right?
Totally. And that's the thing, to where it's funny, because I've had my own business for 14 years, right? So I've been just jumping in continuously, not knowing what to expect from the beginning. So like, how do you start? I was like, honestly, we looked to trademark the name, and it was already trademarked. So I did a license, turned into a franchise. And then I just kept going and saying yes, and yes, sure, I'll do this, sure. And what's interesting though, is the more it was for me, like after the kids, their medical challenges, that it was really going, the more authentic I truly became continuously to who I am as a trainer, not just as a trainer, but even the Inspirator coaching side, and putting that side out there. Because at first, when putting that side out there, Alexandra, was really into my first retreat that I led 3 years ago. I was like, how are these clients going to take to me doing the coaching blended with the fitness? How are they going to take to that? What are they? I was like, well, if they don't like it, this is what they sign up for, and this is what it is, because I know in my heart they're going to get so much more out of life if they can blend this together. I know. And it's proven to be successful and happen, right? Like but it was so scary in some ways to open up that way, but it also wasn't scary, because watching, like with my kids, I just used that as, that shifted my mindset completely at, at the beginning at 32, but realistically at 35, with seeing, hey, time, you got to be yourself even more and more and more, and just stand in your own 2 feet. And if somebody doesn't, if that's not the right cup of tea for everybody, then they can get a different cup of tea, and so, but how the more authentic and you dig into your genius, it actually, as I always say, that the world needs sunglasses when you walk into the room. It shines so bright that the world needs sunglasses when you walk into the room, right? And so now there's that emoji with the sun with sunglasses on, and I think I tapped onto everything. That's all I can think of is everybody being so bright that the world needs sunglasses when you walk into the room, because you are truly, your authentic self. And as you talking about the person who you used to work with, who's now a client of yours, he probably is even more engaged with you now than maybe he was before.
Way more engaged,
because
we're doing work that we wouldn't have been able to do at the other place, but we're willing to do it. He's willing to do it with his team, and he has almost all of his leadership is all women, so that's really phenomenal. And so it's a good fit, but it's but yeah, we can do things that are really different and way more creative, which is super fun. And, for me too, I'm just realizing, like, a big piece of what I talk about with women is around, like, getting comfortable with abundance and getting comfortable with money, and how to, really break from the self-sabotage that happens around that. And I realized that was a big part of my own, kind of original fears, like, ooh, how do I, like, this is something that I've overcome in my own life, right? I've created massive abundance in my life, but it didn't come from that, and so, what you said really hit home to me too, is that it's also about just being willing to be super vulnerable and tell the stories of, the not so pretty pieces, right? And the messy journey, right? The potholes along the way and the road, that have been really shaped your experience and opened up opportunities. And I feel like that's really a place that I can really impact women, so it's not just like the strategy of, like, how to, like, be more visible, or, to get your next opt-in, but, for growing your business. But it's also that mindset, like, really transforming that relationship with money, because I see so many women who that piece is not cleaned up. And then it doesn't matter how much action you do over here until that piece is cleaned up and really, in alignment, it doesn't work. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and there was this great analogy, and it was, sort of like, if you haven't shed the old beliefs fully, like, you know, it doesn't work. And the analogy he gave was, it's like if you go into a dressing room and you know, try on a new dress, like if you still have your old dress on, like the next one doesn't really, you know, you can't, like,
that's a great analogy though. It's
put
so
another
true.
one on top of it and like expect it to work. Like you really have to shed that layer, you know, physically, and then like put the next one on, right, to move forward. And it stuck to me, because I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much of what I teach. It's like you have to be willing to release that, and it's, you know, it's transformational type of work, right? And it's, you know, sometimes it's like healing work, it's woo work, right?
But the woo work though too, what's funny is, 'cause I hear that phrase sometimes, like, yeah, but that's the work though, when you blend it into what you do professionally. If people can get there, it lets them go so much further. You know what I mean? Versus just, here's a spreadsheet, here's the boxes to check off. When they can dig in. I didn't mean to interrupt you right there, Alexandra, but that part, because you had a cute little smile, like in the woo work, but that piece of it though, and I don't know if I call it woo as much as I call it like just the inspiration work. That's the magic. That's the big steps. Because when people can get there, it's like 20 pounds are off their back.
Yes.
Immediately.
That's also for you,
because
in your business, so when you're doing that work, they can literally actually shed the 20 pounds that they've been holding up to.
Oh, totally.
You know, it's the same thing, right? You know, for me, it's like I've had people double their incomes, you know, say, oh, I want to like make an extra $500 from my part-time massage business and turn it into 5,000, you know, but you can't get there until you really commit, decide, you know, say, yes, I'm doing this. This is for me. I am stepped in, right? And you do that work. You open up and you allow yourself to shed and let go of whatever it is holding you back, and, you know, get clear.
Yeah. So that's a perfect lead into a fun phrase that I use, but actually like to get clear. So I use the phrase dream life quite a bit, right? To live your dream life right now. And everyone's dream life is so different. They're so very different. For some people, actually one of my friends up the street, our kids are in preschool together, and her husband's dream life would be this is a great city for them. She'd love to be at the coast. She grew up in North Carolina and would love to be at the coast a bit. But he, though, is a big mountain guy. And you wouldn't know this by seeing him, but he loves to go hunting. He loves to be like in the middle of nowhere. So, and she likes a more urban city. So Boise for them is a great spot because they can go to the coast in a day's drive. But he can go, they have the best of both all worlds, right, for them. She goes, this is our dream city. And they've lived in tons of different places. I said, oh, that's great. For Jack and myself, it's our dream spot. In many ways, it took me a while to realize the vision beyond the vision here. I'm going to be totally honest. When we first moved up here, as you all know, it took me up until realistically, I'd say February, March, you know, and to really see, oh, I get why we moved here. I get it. I love it now. And also seeing the vision beyond the vision for us is that then in a couple of years that we're going to buy a place in Hawaii too. Like that's the goal, to have a place here and then have a place in Hawaii that we can go back and forth to, right? But our dream life, this has allowed us a sense of freedom in different ways. Jack works from home. I work from home. On Monday, we took the kids to stand up paddleboarding in our lunch break just because we could, because we both work from home, right? And the flexibility that we've created in our life allows for a lot of travel, a lot of fitness. Oh, Jennifer messaged me. Oh my goodness, I talk about it, my sister. And so, so it allows us so many different things. It's just Palm Beach, how we went. We don't live by any family now, but Jack works from home, so it's easier for him to be with the kids. And travel-wise, we can plan his traveling for his work in accordance to my traveling as well, right? This wasn't the same way in the Bay Area where we were before, when he had to commute or had to travel a lot more, and the way there were just different stressors down there that we got to release and let go when we moved up here. So we've transferred this into our dream life, quite honestly. And I use that phrase so much, to taking the adventures, to traveling, to owning your time. Like Fridays, I never work Fridays. It's Finny Friday. So for yourself, what would be some of the big ways that you're living your dream life right now? And what is your own? We use the phrase vision beyond the vision, but what's your own vision beyond the vision for your dream life?
Yes.
Nothing like a heavy question.
Just a small little one. Hey, Candace, I can see she's watching too. And I love that Jennifer and Debbie are here too. Jennifer is in our Grow Circle too, so that's really awesome to see her.
Yeah, and Candace just popped on too.
Let's see. Gosh. Well, I'm going to tell you that the house that I'm living in, I'm pretty sure I actually, when I actually visioned it over 20 years ago. And I didn't realize it until I got into it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like this is that. When I was going through my coaching certification back in like 2000, I did a meditation called Meet Your Future Self. And then I have that meditation on my website. I just kind of reimagined it and wrote it in my own words and recorded it like 5 years ago. So it's on my website. But when I first went through that, I landed myself, I met my future self, and I was in a home on some cliffs, like with really natural beach. And I had never actually been to Southern California at that point. And honestly, there's a whole state park that's a 10-minute walk from my home here. And I'm like, this is where I was. I was on this cliff, like overlooking the ocean, and, this is my house. So that's pretty amazing. I really, I actually feel like I dreamed it back then, and I didn't really realize it until we moved to the East Coast and then came back to California, and then, bought this house and we're doing work on it. And I was like, I'm in this house. I'm in the spot. So I feel like
I just got chills thinking that. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
I think, my pieces of what you said really speak to me too. I part of why I wanted to build this business is because I didn't want to go back into a corporate setting, was because I really craved a lot of freedom. I have a huge value around freedom. And, I did work when my first daughter was born, and having to go in 9 to 5, and I would come home, and then it would be like she was going to bed and I would have no time. And I didn't want to do that again with my second one. And so I really like being able to, be thoughtful about how many hours I'm working, and have my work flow into my life. That's really, really important to me. And I got a different piece of my vision beyond the vision when we were in Florida, and it involved more writing, which I've always known I wanted to write more books, but a very different book than my last book. And so I haven't started writing it yet, but I've claimed it. I've claimed my vision, so I can't flow to somebody else.
Claim it.
And, this one is more of like a spiritual fiction book. So I've started writing it. I actually started writing it like 5 years ago, but kind of put it on hold, and now I'm ready to go back to it. So, very different than some of the stuff I'm doing, on a day-to-day basis, but I do feel like it actually fits together. And that's what I saw in my vision beyond the vision when I was in Florida. I actually figured out how the pieces fit. And so that was hugely satisfying to me, because I couldn't really see that before. And so, I had my highest self, my future self, actually there with me, telling me all of the details. And so that was incredibly powerful during some of those meditations.
You know what? That piece, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I hear I tell people, don't point, I'm pointing, I'm sorry. But okay, so it's a school teacher in me. So I only taught PE for a couple of years, but there's always like, don't point. But my grandmother would die right now. Okay, so anyhow, for that though, what you just said with the future self, because I have worked with sports psychology so much, like with visualization, with athletes, and my own self included, and incorporate that so much into my own coaching, a lot of meditation and everything too, because of the fact that you have to visualize, what do you want to feel like? How do you want to be? How do you want to interact? How do you want your adventures to go when you travel with your family? Do you want to be hiking? You do. Then visualize yourself hiking, visualize yourself. I did one with one of my clients who is working really hard about getting her strength back and losing a significant amount of weight. And she wants to, comfortably go back and forth across the Golden Gate Bridge. So comfortable. It's a significant amount of weight. And we're working on it really hard. And she's put it out. I was like, we need to have you visualize it and visualize yourself and visualize your child at the other side smiling and so proud of you, and visualize your husband just tears down his face because he's so proud of you for doing this big, big, big accomplishment. And she's so beautiful and wonderful. And she had never really implemented visualization before. And when she does, she said, oh my gosh, I could see it. I said, exactly. And what is wonderful is what you just brought up, the piece about the house. So what's crazy is for me in Palm Beach, gosh, we are giving Suzanne and Camille quite a lot of props right now for Palm Beach. So if you guys haven't been to Ignite Expand, you want to go next year. It's amazing. And I've always said that I want to have a dream house in Hawaii. I mean, that's I said, okay, we're moving to Boise, Idaho. I'm away from the ocean. Then I want to get to Hawaii, right? Like, I want to be there more. I want it to where we go not just once a year, but twice, 3 times a year. And we have a place that is our own there, though, to where we can have our own family photos up on the wall, that it's our home. In Palm Beach, I had a vision of our family hosting Thanksgiving and a family photo up on the wall for what the house was. And actually, like, my parents driving down the driveway with my in-laws, and we had these beautiful doors that opened up, and we're right on the ocean. It's spectacular. Back doors open out to our own beach, and we're hosting Thanksgiving. And I never actually visualized what the house looked like before or what it felt like. Even the hosting Thanksgiving, well, where did that come from? I guess I want to host a lot of people. I love holding parties. Okay, I'm the hostess for Thanksgiving when we have the place in Hawaii. And I never, ever allowed myself to even visualize that piece of it. I guess that fear of what if it doesn't happen? And here it is now. Oh no, it's going to happen. Oh no, and it's going to happen in a couple of years. It's completely happen. Yeah, and but allowing yourself to visualize what the possibilities are, and allowing yourself to get to that spot, to being open to how you want to live, having that vision. It's so huge. It is so huge. And as I shared with Jack, even with moving here, he saw it. He knew, and I wasn't quite there yet. But after we went through, we're able to go skiing in 45 minutes. We can go snow, in wintertime, the snow, go play it. It's 4 blocks away is the park with the big sledding hill and trails all behind it. And all this fun goodness that I was too caught up in my old ways of really having to be by the water, to realize there's beauty beyond just living right by the water, if that makes sense. And there's a river right here, and the river, you can run down the river. But I just didn't allow myself to think like it. Now I'm going, this is so great. And so for yourself, when you're back in the East Coast and coming back, and as you're in your house, thinking, this is my dream house. And as you're talking about writing a book, I could picture you, I was visualizing you writing a book, looking at the ocean with a wonderful desk right there, looking at the ocean, and just having windows open and the sea breeze coming in, and you just flowing, just getting just flowing. And so have you ever seen the movie, so unrelated, but it has Jack Nicholson in it and Diane Keaton, and she's a writer, she's a playwright.
It's in the Hamptons.
And she's in the Hamptons, though. But her guest, though, is so, you want that house.
With the rock.
That house is in yeah, right? So I was thinking of you, except for you would be Diane Keaton, right? Like you in that role, but that's the house that came to my mind. And then I was like, no, that's not Newport, though. That's still the Hamptons.
Yeah, that's great. It is powerful. And I talk a lot about visualization, and I think that's part of why I write so many guided meditations and use visualization with my clients too. It's because it's such a powerful piece. And I don't think there's anything I have created in my life that I haven't actually visualized first. I use it. I really feel like it's just like a central step. And so that's why that was so powerful, because it's actually to be able to see the visual. I mean, for me, it was like, how do I do this big thing I want to do and really scale it and grow it, but maintain that freedom piece, right? And maintain and really, scale manageably, right? Like, so that you can grow really big, but it's not exhausting, right? Because I think I had that fear, like, if I do this, like, am I going to get worn out? And so I was able to see how to do it without that. I mean, I literally visualized myself like floating above the world. And this is, pretty, pretty revealing here. I don't think I've told that many people this. But I could see the world spinning, and I could see all these women being lit up and inspired reading my book, like around the globe. And I was like, oh. And my future self and I were up literally like floating in the galaxy. I don't know how else to explain it. And like looking down at the earth, moving with women. And then I could see how that then extended into courses or speaking or things like that. And I saw my family involved in it with me. Like I saw my girls by my side with me. And so it wasn't like a solo endeavor. It was really, all of us. And that's how we live our lives. And we do lots of traveling, we do adventuring, right? Like we're all a part of it, right? We're a little unit. And so that was so exciting, because it was like, oh my gosh, like there's a way to get this message out in a bigger way, right? And allow women to wake up to their like abundant brilliance, right? And not that it doesn't have to be me like working one-on-one, but I can still have this amazing impact. So that was really, really, hey, April's watching too, and Carmen.
Hi, April, how are you?
That was really, really exciting, because something I hadn't seen before, and yet I had been holding on to it, and yet I hadn't allowed myself to go there. And so being able to go there that big was,
isn't it pretty
very
powerful? It's April, you're so sweet. Oh, thank you. Wait, so here's a fun one for you. Well, let's just go into this visualizing. I haven't done this actually on the show so much, so I like this. I like how I call it a show too. It's my own show. I used to do fitness TV and was on a nationally syndicated show. So now I have my own TV show that I created on Facebook World. But it has no producer, except for the old producer watches sometimes, which is really fun. But anyhow,
what was your show?
I was the fitness expert I was a pre and postnatal fitness expert, and I did all this pre and postnatal fitness stuff. But then I was a fitness expert on a TV show called Better, and then Better got to be nationally syndicated. So when it was nationally syndicated, we would film all these segments, and it was so much fun. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Actually, one of my own personal goals professionally is I have to really leverage all these great things that I've done that I don't talk about so much. I just have like a little blurb about them, and I don't highlight them so much, which I should do, because I was on a panel with ESPN, and I was the female on this panel with ESPN too. I was like, how did I get picked for that? That's really cool. That was just 20 years ago. That was pretty awesome. I mean, it's
because you're amazing. What? You got picked because you're amazing.
I don't know about that, but it was fun, right? And so anyhow, we totally have to swap stories. I have to tell you guys that this is really fun, and I haven't shared this out loud except with my husband. He goes, yeah, we're going to meet Oprah. I was like, we're totally going to meet Oprah. I'm going to be on her Soulful Sunday, and I'm going to be on her podcast that will be out there to everybody for how to live your Inspirator life, and the stories about my kids embracing life's challenges and really being strong along the journey and along the way. And so anyhow, as you're talking about with your family being part of it, one of mine is these retreats that I do. I love them. I'm adding in family fitness. I'm going to be adding in a couples retreat this next year. And Jack and I have wanted to do that for a while, but we weren't ready for it just yet, if that makes sense. Like and our kids age-wise, I think we were trying too soon. And Finney had too many challenges medically that we just weren't totally around, right?
Yeah,
Hi, Sarah.
Too.
And so,
nice to see you.
And so anyhow, so that's another part of it. But the family fitness part, I've always been really, it's a big part of it's why I've been in fitness for so long, is to get families exercising together and taking adventures together and feeling amazing together and just more joyful, happy, everything. Right. And so this, as you're talking about your family, it's so funny. I don't even know why I'm sharing this right now, but I am, and I'm going to keep going, is that I'm in Hawaii at a family fitness retreat that I put together for Inspirator retreats. And Finley at this point is 5 or 6. So mind you, this is just 1 to 2 years away, guys. And I'm up there with Jack, and we're doing our fun. He's been my co-teacher for so many boot camps. We've done date night boot camps. It's super fun. But anyhow, so we're up on stage on a beach. and we're on this big stage on a beach. There's all these families there exercising after this really fun family fitness retreat where it's just a couple of days and they have a few days off with their family afterwards. And there we are, and Oprah's there. And Oprah's like, can your kids be my kids too? I want to have grandkids. And she decides that my kids are her bonus grandkids. Is that not awesome? And then I'm on her show Soulful Sunday after the book that I wrote and blah, 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 blah. But anyhow, at the beginning, I'm on the stage and I look over and there's Jack and the kids, and then they come on out. So that was my fun little, when you talk about your family, I was like, oh my gosh, and so it is. It is April. Totally it is. Oprah, when you watch this, you got to know we're going to be connecting on a beach in Hawaii with the big, huge thing. And I'll get you having a fun time doing fitness, Oprah, because I make fitness fun.
You do. You totally do. That's part of it, right? It's just like setting the intention.
Isn't that so funny? I know. So for you, what would be 3 then, as we're talking about what 3 goals, though, what are 3 goals that you do have for yourself personally, and what are 3 goals that you have for yourself professionally?
Oh my goodness.
Do you like that? They're very different.
Yeah, I mean, my personal goals are, they're probably centered around, a few different things. Health is part of it, right? Like just keeping myself like super healthy, exercise, eating well, just like feeling, and I would include, meditation and things like that inside of that bucket. Because I think it's sort of like the piece of health, right? That's essential. My other personal goal is really around family, just, really showing up and being present with my family, so that, when I'm with them, I'm really with them. I'm not like with my phone or with my thoughts about, whatever's happening in my business or whatever. But, because that can happen, right? You can actually be with somebody, but like not really be there. I have done that. So I'm like, no, that's not what this is. Like, so just really being present. And then the other piece that I've really getting into now is just like building community, really building community with women through, the retreats and things like that, and those kinds of experiences, but also building my community locally. I've now been back for a couple of years, but the first year I was like remodeling a house and doing my business, and like we were at two different schools and all over the place, and so now I feel like we're finally like got some roots. And so for me, it's been like, just finding like who are my people, right, and really actually investing in relationships. So those are the 3 personal ones, and I have various levels of success with all of those, right? But that's okay.
As I know, you'll be floating above. Everybody in the world is going to be reading your book. Every female is going to have your book, and they're going to be this golden light over them as their lives are changing from the words that you put on the pages.
Yes, right? Like, it's a pretty amazing image, so I'm holding on to it. And with that,
and you can meet Oprah
too. I do. I plan on it.
You'll be on Oprah's book club.
Yeah, I actually I've got like a little, I'm looking over here, I've got like what I call like my little dashboard that I wrote out, I create these things called abundance plans. And, and that's, I work with my clients on creating abundance plans for themselves. And so it's like, what's my 5-year, 3-year, 1-year vision? And then actually detailing out, working it down to like a monthly, plan. Yeah. But, the 5 years is, I'm at that, I'm a best-selling author, right? And so working my way there, right? Best-selling Amazon to best-selling New York Times to, like I've actually started to put that forward, just like, you were saying, what does that look like? Being on the stage in Hawaii to Oprah's in the audience to then now you're on the show, right? And I think that's how it works. You really have to actually get that clear. And so I've written out those steps, like, if I want to be here, like I got to like do this piece, and then I'm going to do this piece, and then I'm going to do this piece, right? I'm not going to try to jump there, right? I'm going to allow myself to flow there. And it also includes things like, right now it includes really, building out the programs that I'm working with women on, like everything that I'm doing in the Growth Circle. Jennifer is part of it. April is my partner in that. We've created this really amazing group of women who, and I see that continuing to grow, right? It starts with this one group and then continues to expand. And what I love about that is that it is creating sisterhood. It is creating accountability, creating community, right? Real relationships where people authentically care about each other and are invested in each other's success. And there's nothing more satisfying than that, is watching people that you really love and, admire, like, do well. It's so, like, and to be a part of helping, right? It's so exciting. So that's piece of that. And, I see it expanding. So I also feel like the next step for me is really growing our mastermind program. So that's kind of where I'm headed next too. So those are kind of three people. Yeah. And April's saying, yes, it's the best. It totally is. It's so uplifting.
I know. She's like, it's the best. It is the best. It's your business. It's the best. It's the best.
It is. I mean, we just got off a call on Tuesday, and these women, it's like only our second coaching call. And it was like, just huge breakthroughs. The amount of growth just in 2 modules and, 2 coaching, it was like, wow, like women are really stepping up.
Isn't it exciting?
So exciting. And it's all the personal stuff too.
So
we're giving them like lots of strategic stuff, but it's the personal stuff that's coming up and that's getting shed, and allowing these women to really step into who they're supposed to be and how they really, see themselves operating in their business. It's empowering them to actually, really do that. So super excited.
If you need a bonus guest, I would a bonus gift for them all. I can be a bonus gift.
Definitely. I'm gonna take you up.
Like, get them some workout, get them some motivation.
Absolutely. That's a great idea.
So we are way over time as we keep going, which I know is a bummer because we've got so many beautiful, wonderful women in here, but I have to respect your time, and I also have to respect my kids, because I promised them that they can make some lunch after I was done, and you would hear all of that going on if not. And so, which I know from experience. So anyhow, what would be, so an inspirator, as you know, is an inspiration and motivator in one. So I'm going to finish this out and just with this fun question for you. And you can have inspirators in your life in so many different ways. It could be, from the personal standpoint to where, somebody who is your inspirator in art and motherhood, in marriage and business and fitness and wellness, anything like that. But who would be in love, who would be 3 inspirators that just come right front and center to you, that are some of your inspiration and motivators, and one that you look to, you're like, that's one of my inspirators?
Yeah. The first one that comes to mind is my husband. And what I want to say there is just like an incredibly magnanimous heart, just like incredible generosity, and just flows. And so that has been huge for me in my journey, right? And I've just learned so much from that every day from that. So really, really appreciative of that. I think recently, having linked myself up with the mentors, Suzanne and Cameo, I would definitely say them, just, watching how they have grown their business. And I feel like our thinking and the way we feel about things is very aligned, right? And the way that we kind of work our businesses is feels very aligned with how I run mine. And so I've really enjoyed that model, and just that always coming from a place of collaborativeness, like a no competition, just like really open sharing, and so I appreciate that, and I always want to model that, right? And so I love watching that partnership. I love seeing what they do and knowing that as they do it, then it's possible for me too, right? On a bigger level. So I really am inspired by that. And I'm trying to think, I almost want to put like my kids.
My kids are my biggest inspirators. Heck, Emerson came up with the word inspirator, quite honestly, so.
They totally inspire me. They're just so smart, and they're like, they're just fun and wise, and they like remind me to like, you know, I can get like, I'm an intense person. Like I can get super serious. And so, but I like to have a lot of fun, and I like to be playful, because I just know that that energy that's like the receptive energy. Right? That's like the energy of gratitude and appreciation, just like loving your freaking life. Right. And so they remind me of that every day. You know, I mean, even we have like little simple rituals. We do them every single day. Like we drive to school or wherever we're going, and we say our gratitudes, you know, like every day, you know, like we do these little things together. You know, we like dance around like silly people in our, you know, in our kitchen, right? It's just all of that. I love reading stories with them, and just, you know, all of that. It just, it brings me back into center. And so I appreciate that. And that's an inspiration for me, and an inspiration to keep healthy too, because I want to be around for a long time.
And be dancing with them in the kitchen for a long time. We actually had a dance party in our house last night.
Thought.
And it was a hair flipping. Oh, did you?
I was like, oh my gosh.
I got a logo on the face.
Girlfriend needs to come to my house and learn the 7:30 to bed routine.
Oh, you know what? That's what we're working on with Finland. Well, they're in summer mode though, is the thing. That I have two that are, because how old are your kids?
I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. So
yeah, so I've got the 14 and 10. So, and they leave on Saturday for 3.5 weeks. I won't see them. I've never been away from them for 1 week, but Jack was with them. But neither of us have ever both been away from. One time was in Hawaii for 5 days, and that was just last year. But outside of that, we've never been away from from the older two, both of us away, if that makes sense, them away from us. But they're with my parents. My parents were taking them to Europe for 3 weeks. It is totally amazing. It's just a 2-year trip that was planned, and it happens to already be here. So it's been a crazy week of summer. Like they're 1 week of summer before they take off from Boise, and then having a 4-year-old who wants to keep up. So when they leave, actually, guess what we get to do with the 4-year-old? Sleep train. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. But anyhow, that's a whole nother story. So for how can everybody connect with you? It is yourname.com, correct?
So,
Alexandra.
Yeah, we can type it into the into this.
Perfect. Let's put that on in there, so everybody we can download that wonderful meditation that is on your website. So download that meditation. If you have not actually done a visualization for yourself before, I encourage you to please download that from Alexandra's, because if it worked that well for you, it's going to work so well for people. And the power of that is amazing. So amazing. And then join us both, Cameo Suzanne. We love you guys. Join us both next year in Palm Beach. We're both going to be there. I most likely will be teaching again and doing some other fun things. So it will be a blast. And then is there any fun, you have Grow going on, right? Your group is called Grow, correct?
Our accountability circle is called Grow. And so that's like a group coaching program that's 12 weeks long. And we're going to start another group in August. So if anybody's looking to do that, they can come and join us there. And then, anybody who wants to come and be a part of my my Facebook group, Abundance Revolution, I would love that too, because it's a good group and we're growing, and I'm in there a lot, and just giving people value, and often do challenges and things like that. So it's fun. And I'm going to see you in Sedona, right? So.
No, because I have my retreat in Hawaii that I'm leading is on the 27th to the 30th in Hawaii. And so I leave on the 25th. And that's just too much. And so, no, I'm not going to be in Sedona. It would be fun, but that's not fun to my husband. I actually raced the weekend before that in California. So I'll be in California racing, then I come home and I'm in Hawaii for a week. It's called a dream life, guys. You can create it. I promise. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I swear. As I said that out loud, I was like, yeah, well, But anyhow, I know with the Hawaii retreats, here is the smart part with owning your own business. I have to go lead the retreat in Hawaii. It's my business. I pick the locations. You have to have some buffer time before and afterward to decompress. If you choose Hawaii, it means that you get to go to Hawaii for a week. The first time I did it last year was because it was, no place I could drive to. The other retreats I was able to drive to. And Hawaii was when I had to fly, logistics are different. And obviously I love Hawaii so much. And so So anyhow, my husband was laughing. He was like, did you miss us? Of course I miss you guys every day. I was like, but I could have stayed longer too. Just the swimming with the dolphins every day and swimming the Ironman course, you just cannot compare to that. I'm sorry, you know? So we're trying to figure out to get them all to come over too. It won't work this time.
Next time,
that's pretty
anyhow, revision.
I know, well, you know, we're going to put the family retreat there, right? And so anyhow, have a wonderful day though. Thank you so much for sticking out the technical difficulties in the beginning.
It works.
It does. And so now I know with the new phone is to, I guess I have to do it differently than the old operating system. I don't know, guys. I will work that one out. But have a great one, and I will see those joining Inspirator Life next week, Thursday for the normal time, which is 1 o'clock Mountain Time. And we made it special today so we can have wonderful Alexandra join us. And you go enjoy the ocean for me, because and a picture of yourself jumping into the waves or something. Send it to me.
Sounds good. All right. Have a great day.
Okay. Have a good one. Thank you, Alexandra. Bye, you guys. Have a wonderful day. And as always, remember, you are your own inspirator. Bye.